Welcome back to another episode. This is for March 29th to April 11th. Just a few updates for us with the channel. We are going to be moving the weekly videos to bi-weekly videos, which means we aren't going to be able to cover all of the content out there about Tesla. So we're going to try and keep the videos under 10 minutes, and we'll just pick the content that we feel is most important and most relevant, and then the ones that we're most interested in. So anyway, just wanted to keep you updated on that, on why our videos aren't coming out as often.
Alrighty, and Tesla came out with their quarterly numbers for production and deliveries. They had produced 103,000 roughly vehicles and delivered about 88,000. And comparing that to last year, they had, let me double check my numbers. Sorry, they had 77,000 produced and 63,000 delivered. So this is actually a pretty big increase year over year. It's about 32% increase for production and about a 40% increase for deliveries. Hats off to Tesla, fantastic work for quarter one, especially considering the coronavirus.
Going along with the coronavirus, Tesla has laid off anyone with jobs who are not able to work from home, and they have done a temporary pay cut for those who can work from home. That pay cut is supposedly to go till about July 1st. They're hoping to have production up and running again by around May 4th. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And we got this information from a leaked email that we will put the link below so you can go and read more of that information if you want to. There's a lot in that email and more than we'd be able to cover. So again, if you're interested, check that out. And then the other portion of the coronavirus news, Tesla has already delivered hundreds of thousands of ventilators to multiple locations, and now Gigafactory New York and San Francisco will be producing ventilators so that they can continue to contribute throughout this pandemic.
Next up is a software update that's rolling out to all cars. It's 2020.12.5, and this has updates for pretty much every car. So starting with the oldest Teslas, it's a pretty basic update. It basically just will show Supercharger Status. So if there's stalls that are out of order, it'll show that when you tap on the Supercharger icon in the car. Then next up is for cars like ours with Autopilot 2.5 hardware, and it now shows cones and not road markings though. So stoplights, stop signs don't show up, road markings don't show up. I feel like I'm missing something there, but only cones. And they're still surprisingly fun.
So Cam has been extremely excited about this. He was incredibly impatient for waiting for our car to get this update. And when we got it, the moment it finished, he was like, okay, we have to go for a drive so we can see cones. Like, he's geeking out over it.
Yes, I am geeking out over it. And then the other thing is for any cars that support dash cam or sentry mode, you can now actually view those in the car. It's really nice. It's very intuitive. You can just tap the dash cam or sentry mode icon at the top of the screen, and then you can tap, I think it's launch viewer, and you can just go through and see all the car angles that the cameras are covering and tap through them. It's very fluid. I was surprised. Honestly, I feel like this is what it should have been originally. I like that Tesla was already recording before, but this is how I believe that it should have been released. Anyways, I think there are a few updates that can come along to improve it a little bit, but for a first version, I think it's great. The last thing that comes out with this is if you have a Raven Model S or X, so anything produced around April 2019 and more recently since then, you get a new Cheetah Stance when you're launching your car. All it is that your car will kind of lean forward, it leans down, and then it gives you better traction and control and improved performance times when it launches. So that's what comes with 2020.12.5. And honestly, I think that means something big is coming out next, because if you check Teslafy.com, there are tons of cars that are getting this, and usually it's just a small percentage of each car gets each update. It looks like everybody's getting this one. So we'll see if there's something in the works coming up.
There are a few new things that can be bought for the Model Y. One especially that we want to touch on is you can now buy a tow hitch. It's $1,000 and it can tow up to 3,500 pounds. That's an option when purchasing, correct?
And you can purchase it now after the fact if you've already got your Model Y. Same price.
Yes. And then a few other things that are aftermarket purchases for the Y. You can get a Model Y car cover for $230 to $300, depending on whether you want an indoor or outdoor cover. And then the other option is a roof rack that you can buy for $450, and you can get those at shop.tesla.com. There's a fun video of a guy getting a Model Y. He bought it without seeing it. Seeing the car at his home is the first time he saw it, and it just shows his enthusiasm and excitement about the car. We both really enjoyed it, and we wanted to include it, so there's a link below if you want to check that out.
And language warning for that.
Yes.
And a couple weeks ago, we talked about Sandy Munro, who does the teardowns of vehicles and basically reviews them. He has gotten the Model Y. He's already started to tear it down. You can go to munrolive.com, or you can go to YouTube, link below that we have. It's just called Munro Live as well. But he's got about 21 videos as of right now. Super informative. If you like teardown kind of videos, this guy's all about that. I highly recommend it. They're super informative and pretty fun.
Model 3 wiper blades are now available through Tesla instead of having to go through a third party. However, they aren't very cheap. They're about $23 a blade.
And speaking of pricing and things like that with the Model 3, in Australia, the price of the Model 3 has gone up again. It's insanely expensive there for one reason or another, but it's gone up $6,000. And then in Canada, it's gone up $2,000 as well. Haven't heard anything about other models, just the Model 3 or even other locations. So it looks like just Canada and Australia. And then on to Elon Tweets. There were a few of them this week, and most of them pertain to autopilot and full self-driving. So here we go. First one was Brandon Bernicki. I think I pronounced that right. He asked, how's stop sign detection going on in testing? Any updates on mass rollout? Elon responded, hoping to roll out traffic lights and stops to wide US release in a few weeks, and probably worldwide release in Q3. So many variations in each country. Very important to make sure that it's done right. So here Elon says, a couple of weeks. Let's be realistic, it's probably gonna be a few months. On to the next one. K10 on Twitter asked, full self-driving still on track to increase in price? Elon responded, yeah, probably July 1st. And honestly, my guess is it's gonna be about $1,000. Hopefully not more, but looking at past updates, that's what it's been. And the next one's from Third Row Tesla, and they asked, I don't get why they don't make HomeLink a software upgrade. Complicated to install? Expensive licensing fees? I don't get it. It sucks because this is one of the best Tesla features, hands down. My Model 3 came with it, but when I buy a new performance soon, it won't. And Elon responded, HomeLink is third-party hardware that increases costs of all cars, but only some people use it, so it's only installed upon request. Long-term, garage door openers are transitioning to Wi-Fi activated, which was then followed up by Ryan Knapp saying, Elon, any way we could get a Wi-Fi garage door opening icon? For users that do not have HomeLink and do have a Wi-Fi enabled garage door, this would be a very useful feature. And Elon responded simply, coming soon. So those were the Elon tweets for this week, and we're gonna move on to Superchargers.
So there were only 23 updates in the last 2 weeks for Superchargers worldwide. 1 permit in the US, 7 under construction, 3 in the US, 1 in the Netherlands, 1 in Germany, 1 in France, and 1 in Norway, 15 open, 6 in the US, 2 in China, 2 in Australia, 2 in Canada, 1 in Japan, 1 in Taiwan, and 1 in Poland.
And then normally this is where we close it out, but I wanted to share a funny Sentry Mode story that happened this week. It's pretty embarrassing actually, so hopefully you guys can get a smile or whatever out of my embarrassment. So I was at Lowe's picking up some stuff, and as I was going back to the car, I opened it. It unlocked just fine, but when I opened it, the Sentry Mode screen still showed the little eye, or whatever it's called, and it said Sentry enabled. And I thought this was kind of weird because normally that disappears when you open the car. And when I sat down and closed the door, it started playing the song that it plays, super loud, and I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. So I'm like sitting in the parking lot with this music blasting in the car, and I pull out my key card from my wallet and I try tapping it by the cup holders to unlock the car, and that doesn't work. So I get out of the car and I use the little key card on the side B pillar, and that still doesn't do it. So now I'm sitting in the car again because I don't want people staring at me outside the car. And I have people walking by. Oh gosh, it was so embarrassing. Anyways, I ended up turning it off by going into the app and going into the options and disabling Sentry Mode. I have no idea why it did that. It's never done that before. It hasn't happened since. I think it was just a glitch, but so embarrassing to be in the Lowe's parking lot and have like people walking by left and right staring at the car as it's playing that music.
We will include the music for those of you who haven't heard it.
Yes. But anyways, hopefully you get some enjoyment out of my embarrassment this week. Apart from that, thank you so much for watching. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for anybody who has given us comments and tips and tricks and things like that. If you have any questions, let us know. Other than that, we'll see you in the next one.